Hi, my name is Mike Hickey, and I'm the president of Master Learning Strategies, and this is the most popular study guide out there on the market today for SAT preparation. Why is that so? Because as the front cover indicates, this is the only book that has practice questions and practice tests made by the test maker. Now, is that important? Of course it is. I teach physics. If you were to prepare for my course in physics, or prepare for any tests that I might give, obviously the best way to prepare for any test for my final exam would be to have past tests that I've given. In like manner on the SAT, you want to have past tests that are given by the test maker. This is the only book that has those. Now there is a new format on the SAT. As you know, there are 3 sections instead of 2. There's math, critical reading, and now writing, not a 1600 for a perfect score, but a 2400 for a perfect score. This by far is the best-selling SAT prep guide because the questions in here are made by the people who make the test, the College Board. Now obviously that's important. It's important because it will not only tell you about the content that's on the SAT, and you want to be good at content skills, but as important, or maybe even more important, is the fact that if you take and practice questions out of this book, you will become familiar with the common patterns, common traps and errors, the nuances of the test, the strategies of the test will become a part of you. You'll assimilate those almost naturally just by going over dozens and dozens of questions found in this book. Now there are a number of SAT prep study guides out there. The Princeton Review is a major player in the SAT arena. Kaplan is a major player in the SAT arena. They have their own study guides. But if you look at those study guides, and some of them actually you'll find that the content, some of the subject matter of the content actually isn't found in the College Board book. What does that mean? It's not going to be found on the SAT. So why waste your time studying content that's not going to be on the SAT? But once again, they're going to have people making up questions who don't make up questions for the SAT. I want to be studying questions and tests made up by the people who make the test. But there's another reason why this is the best seller out there. Full-time SAT tutors exclusively use this book. And in fact, you may very well have an SAT tutor or have had an SAT tutor who simply asked you to do homework, so to speak, problems in this book, and then when you got together with him or her for an hour or more, perhaps spent as much as $75 to $150 an hour for that tutelage. Okay? Another reason that would indicate that this is by far the best book to get is do an Amazon search. I did a recent Amazon search on those 3 major players, the Princeton Review, Kaplan, and the College Board book. The Princeton Review's most popular book in Amazon's online catalog, which consists of 3 million titles. 3 million titles. The Princeton Review's best-selling book is about 8,700th in sales rank, which on a scale of 3 million is actually fairly high when you think about it. The Kaplan's most popular SAT study guide for preparation is about 4,700th, okay? Almost 5,000. The College Board book is 74th and is always in the top 100. What does that tell you? Well, the public basically has said, this is the book that we study because these are the people who own the test. That makes perfect sense. So the sales ranking also would indicate that. What's the problem with this book? Yes, it has the best questions. Yes, it has all the correct answers. But as an SAT tutor, I found out really quickly that there was a major problem with this book. What is it lacking? Well, it's lacking the solutions. It's lacking the explanations. In other words, if there's a really tough math problem and they tell you that the answer is A at the back of the test, but you don't know how to get to A, then what good is that? There's something missing there. That's precisely why myself and a co-author of mine who teaches at the school that I teach at created this book 2 years ago. This book contains all the explanations for all of the math problems, all of the critical reading, and has some essay starters and strategies to help you prepare for the essay, as well as all of the answers and explanations for the grammar that's found in the 8 practice tests in the College Board guide. So this is by far the best guide, but it's missing the solutions. Now, not for nothing, but is the SAT even important anymore? College admissions counselors would like to downplay the importance or significance of the SAT. And it stands to reason that they might, and certainly it's not the only determinant on whether they will allow a certain student into their particular school. GPA is important, no question. Extracurricular activities, your character, all of that is important. But stop and think about why the SAT is still important. It's still important because, number one, admission to college and universities today is more competitive than ever before. For example, Stanford University received 22,000 applications last year for entrance into their particular school. 819 of those 22,000 were accepted. That's about 3.8%. Okay? Highly competitive school, of course. Now you might say, well, God bless the people who got into Stanford University. Perhaps I'm not that caliber of student. Perhaps I would not actually apply to Stanford University. What about a different school? Is it as competitive? Well, Gordon College in Massachusetts is a much less well-known school than Stanford University. It's a small Christian school 25 miles north of Boston. I know about it because my two sons go there. Interestingly, my oldest son, who just graduated from Gordon, received on the old SAT scale a 1300, okay, which is equivalent to about a 1950 or close to a 2000 on the new format SAT. That's a pretty fair score. 50% of his incoming class had received that score or better on the SAT at a small school, highly competitive. What's my point? The point is, entrance into college is more competitive than ever before, and college admissions counselors may try to downplay the significance of the SAT, but common sense would stand to reason here. Stop and think, place yourself in the shoes of a college admissions counselor. If you have a file, the profile of a particular student who's interested in your school, what's the very first thing you're going to look at if you're not aware of the school, the high school that they come from? Let's say you go to Oshkosh High School in Wisconsin, okay? Well, if the college admissions counselor has inside knowledge of you as an individual or Oshkosh as a school, then maybe they'll understand right away what your GPA means at that school. But of course, not every college admissions counselor is going to know about every school in the United States. So what are they going to have to do? The very first thing they'll do is look at a national barometer. They're going to look at the SAT, they're going to look at the ACT, in order to get an idea of where you stand as an individual. Okay? So needless to say, that's critical, and the SAT is extremely important as a result. And you wouldn't be looking at this video if it wasn't. But let me talk about my personal experience. I do have two sons that are at Gordon College, or as I said, my oldest has just graduated. As a result of their SAT scores and their GPA, but primarily their SATs, I will pay $84,000 less in tuition because of the merit scholarships that they qualified for and received as a result of their academic performance. And a huge part of that, one of the criteria for these merit scholarships was their SAT score. So SAT preparation has impacted my life dramatically in a very practical way. And nobody wants to pay $80,000 more than they need to, and I have two more children that are going to college as well. So, needless to say, the SAT is huge. Now, why am I doing this video series? Well, essentially, I've done SAT courses in the past, and still do. I've tutored hundreds of kids. And to be fair, although we wrote a book and have all the answers in as a hard copy, so to speak, some people obviously would like the convenience of having a video series. And that's why I've done this video series. And in effect, I'm the live copy, so to speak, of what we've done in Rock the Test in the book form. Now, to be fair also, students that have taken my SAT course have paid hundreds of dollars for that course. And you may have taken a course through Princeton Review or Kaplan, and it's not uncommon for those courses. Princeton Review course is standard is about $1,000, the basic course, up to about $1,500. The Kaplan Review course, which they're all pretty much the same, about 30 hours, 35 hours. The Kaplan course can be anywhere from $1,100 to $4,500. If you were to have an SAT tutor, individual, one-on-one, take you through this book, not uncommon for their fee to be, once again, somewhere between $75 and $150 an hour. And it's going to take 40 to 50 hours to get through this book as an individual. You do the math. We're talking $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 for an individual tutor, and sometimes more. It's big dollars. It's big money. Therefore, I'm doing this series. I'm doing this series because I think it's practical. Number one, I think it's convenient. Okay, but this series wouldn't mean anything, of course, if Master Learning Strategies or if me personally as an SAT tutor didn't have some reasonable results. And certainly you should know that. On average, the students that have taken my course, and that's what this is, have increased their SAT scores on average 240 points. Now that's a pretty fair increase. Many in fact, have been well over 300 points. In fact, there was one girl a couple of years ago who actually went up over 500 points. That's unusual, but it is not unusual for students of mine to go up 240, 250, 320, 330, you name the number. The bottom line is this, is that an increase of 250 to 300 points is significant, very significant. And in fact, if your SAT score goes up from 1,800 to 2,100, it's absolutely huge. Because not only does that bring into range, so to speak, a different caliber of school, but you'll find that if your score approaches 2,000 or beyond, which is not uncommon, again, students that I've had have had those kinds of increases. Those colleges and universities will come looking for you, so to speak. And it is not uncommon for them to throw merit scholarships at you in order to recruit because they want to have the best student body that they can have. I want to thank you for the opportunity to perhaps teach you. Maybe you're a student viewing this, maybe you're a parent, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're an SAT tutor. Okay, I think each of those groups may find some value in this particular video series, and I'd love the opportunity to teach whoever would want to purchase this package. So thank you so much for your attention. Go to the website, check us out, rockthetest.com. And part of this introductory package, again, is going to be a math and a critical reading and a writing section, and you'll get an idea, perhaps, of what kind of value this would have. Thanks so much for your attention. God bless you. Bye-bye.